Hi everyone, it is currently the 2nd of July 2014. Meteorologist Robert Spetty here with you today. We are continuing to watch the tropics. They are really starting to fire up here into the early part of July. And actually, let's go back to that model outlook. This is just the cloud cover, and you can see here just south of Guam, we have an area starting to spin up. And this is going to be one of the big topics throughout the rest of the week. Go over towards the real satellite imagery, and that's based on a model outlook. And you can see right here, we actually have two areas we're keeping an eye on. One, a low pressure area just off the eastern coastline of the Philippines. And make no mistake, I know I've been kind of downplaying this, but it is going to be kicking off some rain showers. Do not think this could become Florita unless Bagasa becomes very, very liberal with the naming. But I do think it's going to have some problems with the monsoon, and I'll get to that in a second. But also, more so, this is Invest 90W at this time, and I think this one could become Florita versus the Bagasa name, but on the international name via JMA, NeoGuri, the next name tropical storm out here in the western Pacific. And it really is showing signs of development, actually. We take a look at the zoomed in satellite imagery on the storm system. Convection all around has improved over the overnight hours. We're seeing a clear center of circulation. Also, we have plenty of radial outflow. I mean, off on the northern periphery, you have that outflow aloft going north, also going south. That's with these upper level clouds. You can see these kind of wispy clouds on the southern periphery. And over here, they're moving away from the center of circulation. That's indicating that outflow aloft. And when you get that, plus, I mean, sea surface temperatures over top of this storm system, upwards of about 30 degrees. I mean, it's just warm bath water we're talking about out here. That's going to allow this to fire up even some more so. And take a look at the latest, actually, ASCAT imagery. These are satellite-derived winds. On the northwestern part of your imagery here, the top left, you can see a clear center of circulation. Winds upwards about 20 to 25 knots on that southern periphery. So this is getting more and more organization. And actually, if we saw winds upwards of about 30, 35 knots, any red wind barbs on this, that would put it in the tropical storm category already. So this one, I think this is going to be the big topic. Now, where is it going? Well, it's already been bringing some heavy rainfall, and actually in and around Chuuk, some of these small islands here, you've actually seen upwards about 80 to 90 millimeters past 24 hours alone. Showers have really been coming down with this storm system. We're also been seeing, though, the showers starting to slowly come towards you there into Guam. They're going to be pushing off just towards the south, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some passing thunderstorms as this does move basically on that southerly projection just south of the Mariana Islands. You can see some of those northern bands here. Those are going to push across. It's not going to be too severe. Some easterly winds could be gusty at times, but I do think that you should kind of keep an eye on it, and more so if you are out here into Guam, especially along the eastern peripheries, as this does go by, it is going to be kicking up some high waves. And actually, I'll show you this on this imagery here. You can see Guam right in this area and those winds coming in from the east as our low pushes down there towards the south. So I think over the course of the next several days, the track is pretty certain. We're going to see this move on a western track, basically going south of the Westpac High, which is just off there towards the north. Take a look at the streamline analysis. Now, this is going to be based on a satellite imagery, but it's just the overall background flow. And if you've ever watched my video updates here, you know I love using this when we're talking about the track of a tropical system, especially once we start getting into the long range. You have your high pressure right here, and you have our two lows. There's one right here. Now that is Invest 91W, the low pressure area, and another one just towards the east. These two factors are going to play into the development of our 90W, our possible NeoGuri, because if this one becomes any bit stronger and it attaches the south to it, it's going to pull a little bit farther there towards the west. You got to remember, these storm systems are kind of like water wanting to flow downhill. They're going to go to the area of least resistance, especially with warm core lows. So if that happens, this will pull a little bit farther towards the west and have more of a direct impact on Luzon, basically before turning off there towards the north. If this remains relatively weak, though, it's going to pull a little bit farther towards the north, run along the western periphery of the Westpac High, and go off here and impact the southern Japanese islands sometime next week. We're still talking about 5 to 7 days out. So this is kind of a big difference. And actually, you've seen or many of you may have seen my tropical outlook track I made here on Monday. I'm thinking about updating this here on Tuesday just based on the newest information. But I have a huge cone of air and basically stretching all the way from northern Luzon all the way through the southern Japanese islands and possibly even over there towards the Pacific coast of Japan, just depending on how this is going to interact with 90W and how it's going to move off there towards the north. Before I get into long-range model outlooks, I do want to mention though, and you can see right here that enhanced monsoonal threat I've kind of pointed out. And I think even if this storm system takes a northerly track, it takes a more southerly track, we're going to be seeing heavy rains, especially across parts of Visayas, Mindanao, western Luzon, through the rest of the week. See, this is what I mean. We have our low off here towards the north. Now you can see right here, Friday and the Saturday. We have our low off here towards the north, and NeoGuri possibly developing off here towards the east. Both of these act as a conveyor belt, though, and they're just going to be spinning out here and pulling in the moisture and really just kicking off that southwest monsoon. The potential is already here for moisture to come in, but this just creates a river of rainfall across this area, and this is just one look at it. You can see these westerly winds where the showers are coming down, and actually I have right here on your map, this is in and around the Cebu area, and if we just look through this, you got rain showers every day on the bottom left of the screen. You can see it, and winds basically coming in from the southwest at about 15 to 20 kilometers per hour, sometimes kicking off thunderstorms. Take a look actually at the overall accumulative precipitation, and we're going to be seeing, well, some areas seeing that much rainfall as far as 200 to 300 millimeters. But this is the bigger topic, I think, is just that river I was just mentioning a second ago, and you can see it right here on that overall rainfall accumulation. You have your low here, your other low here, and this is the next 72 hours, and then that moisture is kind of streaming in across like that, and that's going to bring the risk of flooding, landslides out there into parts of Visayas and southern Luzon, northern Mindanao, as we look ahead into the weekend and the early part of next week. Really want to keep an eye on that, and I think if you are in the Philippines, that's going to be the biggest direct impact from this, and you should be ready for that threat of flooding as we continue to look ahead. Now, let's go back to our ECMWF model here, and what we can see, though, is our low pressure area basically forming out here near Guam, and that's going to continue to move off there by Sunday, possibly just towards the east of Luzon. ECMWF, actually, and this is the one I'm using here, is pretty persistent on this developing and moving farther there towards the south. This is actually long range as well via the Wonder Map platform, and you can kind of see it here moving out there towards the Luzon, staying relatively weak. Now this has been changing though, and the last model run, if we can actually pull up the 0Z UTC run, I had it a little bit farther off there towards the north and towards the east, pushing in towards Okinawa and the southern Japanese islands. Latest GFS model run, I'm just going to run through some of these here for you. Also has this storm system pushing off there towards the southern Japanese islands and basically clipping them before moving out there towards Kyushu. This has been flipping back and forth, though. I do want to keep that in mind. You always want to not just look at one run, but this has shifted all the way from here over to here over the course of the past 48 hours. It's been going back and forth. If you're in the southern Japanese islands, Okinawa, Ishigaki, northern parts of Taiwan, I think as well, and also southern Kyushu, a very good chance, I do think, by Monday and a Tuesday of next week of seeing a direct impact from a tropical system. It's not just this model as well. It is also that streamline analysis I mentioned a second ago, but also we could take a look at the NavGem, the Navy model, or the U.S. military model, and this also has this coming off there and basically swooping just east of the southern Japanese islands before coming up here and impacting me here in my hometown, so potentially could impact those in Tokyo, and that is why I have that huge cone of air on the extended outlook. All right, everybody, I've been talking for an extended period of time. If you listened all the way through, please let me know. I always appreciate your feedback and knowing that these video updates are helpful. I am going to continue to put out updates on the website, and we're going to look ahead there. But for now, if you are in the Philippines and central portions of the Philippines, be ready for that threat of flooding. I think there's going to be an enhanced monsoon, and that's definitely going to be a big problem. The low pressure area just east of Luzon could become something, but I don't think so. It's Invest 90W. JMA already expecting that to become a tropical depression, at least in the next 24 the 48 hours. They have it on their map. So we're going to continue to watch for that. And then JTWC also calling it a medium risk of development. So this is the big topic. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And as always, stay safe out there. Bye.